Virtual reality has taken a big leap forward in 2016. With that, many gamers have asked themselves, is it right for them to purchase these new platforms when many of the games seem like novelty titles that might be actually overpriced? Well, there are developers out there trying to change this perception of the platform. The game Final Approach Pilot Edition aims to change what people think about this platform by actually delivering just a good game. From the get-go, there is a story mode with 17 missions. These missions could last anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes, so it is actually hefty long missions. There's also 5 extra challenge modes that will challenge players' resistance and actual patience to go ahead and do the same thing over and over to try to complete their task. I like this a lot, but I suck at it, this part. I got nervous, guys. I can't even facepalm myself. Oh man. No! That's the end right there! I was going too slow. Oh my god, I could do it. I could do it. There's also multiple free-to-play modes that's great for your friends and the kids in your family. It's easy to let them jump right in and experience the game on their own. The tutorial in the game is very straightforward and very easy to understand. The spoken language in this game is very happy, very upbeat. It's very easy to get along with the characters they're trying to portray through the dialogue in this game.
We're going to set you free and let you manage the runways all by yourself now. No reason to panic. You can handle it. Now get out there and make sure everything's tip-top. Also, it's time for you to learn about karma. Oh yes, it's a real thing. If you open your flight pad, you'll see a karma bar at the top. Whenever something bad happens, that bar starts to empty. If it empties completely, you'll fail the mission you're on and have to start over. Remember, don't let bad things happen.
I seem to have smoke coming from my engine. If you could find me someplace to land, that would be great.
What makes this game so special as a simulation type game is the amount of things you actually can do. And they do not feel like gimmicks in the virtual reality titles. They all add to the experience. Overall, the game is a simulation. You're supposed to land aircrafts and try to get them repaired, refuel, put out fires, help load baggages if you're at a big metropolitan airport. If you're at a military site, you might have to gun down other enemy aircrafts, UFOs. There's so many other different things you could do in this game. They even add in free Halloween events where you have to take out ghosts like the Ghostbusters. And that's the nice things I like seeing from the developers. But what this game is such a special title is the fact that as great as it is to play standing up and moving around, they actually have an extra add-on called Pilot Edition, and I actually highly recommend anybody who buys the regular Final Control pick this up as well, because this added something so drastically different to the game that it blew my mind. I was gonna play now with a controller, but it gave me the experience to control what felt like an RC aircraft and land these aircrafts myself. So the game went from me being a big god, looking down on the island, seeing where aircrafts are going, using my hand and making them land wherever I want to, taking care of fires, to now I have a controller. I am the aircraft and I'm going to go ahead and pilot that thing to the ground. And the way this game makes you feel and the sensation of you actually controlling these planes is like nothing I've ever felt in gaming. It's an experience that I truthfully feel that you have to experience for yourself. It has gotten to the point that I just say that this is a must-play virtual reality title. Pilot Edition adds so much to the content of this game, it blows my mind. The fact that now you have basically a first-person view from behind the aircraft and you are controlling like it was an RC car, it feels so natural, so great. It feels like you're actually inside the game. You actually matter. Yes, being a god, towering down, using your hand to make things happen feels amazing. And the two different ways of playing the game feel excellent in their own different right. But there are different advantages and disadvantages to both systems. If you don't have a large area in your room to play this game, because of how fast and frantic you can move when you're in basically God mode from above, you might end up swinging your arm and hit into a few different things. But when you're in pilot mode, you could be a little bit more slower and a little bit more methodical because you're actually controlling each plane on their own. But you will be slower than when you're in God mode. And I just love the fact that these developers went out of their way to make these two separate experiences, and they feel so drastically different from each other, but they're still corely the same game. When you have to load baggage, when you have to put out fires, be doing it with a controller, doing it with the motion control still feels great. And that's what's so key about this game. No matter if you're playing with a controller or if you're playing with motion controls, it still is a good and fun game. Nothing ever gets gimmicky. It doesn't get old. I've done hours of just messing around, watching and seeing the planes close to my face. And one of the craziest things that you just can't get from videos like this on YouTube is a sense of scale. The island to me looks huge. It actually takes time to walk from one end of the island in real world steps to the other end. It is not small. And that is something you will never get from a YouTube video. The scale. How big an item is. The airplanes, when you actually try to get close and see the hangar and actually see the little aircrafts take off, that aircraft carrier to me looks huge. It actually feels like it's something inside the room I am in. When you're back on the desk, when you're in the hangar, I made a mistake and tried to put my HTC Vive controllers on the virtual desk in the game, dropping my controllers on the floor. This is why you should always use your wristbands, ladies and gentlemen, because in my brain, I felt like I was actually in front of that desk. It tricked my brain to that point. And of course, there is going to be questions about motion sickness for games like this. I will say in my time with this game, I've had zero problem with motion sickness. Now, I have played this game both on the GTX 980 and a GTX 1070. I will let you guys know off the bat, I do have better performance on the GTX 1070. You can see right here that there are different graphical settings, and you might need to play with the shadows, anti-aliasing if you're using a GTX 970, 980, or something around that class. But if you're in the GTX 1070 or above, you'll be perfectly fine maxing everything out. The game runs smooth. The game feels great. And the graphics are actually decent for what it is. The graphics are around a cartoon style. If I had any problems with this game right now, is this a fact that I think the water in the game could be a little bit more enhanced. Even with the cartoon graphics, I think there are problems with the way the water looks. I just thought that was something that kind of stood out to me. Of course, this game is not perfect. I ran into a few bugs every now and then that would just basically make certain things clip through, but it was kind of more or less hilarious. It was never anything that made the game unplayable. I never had any crashes. I never had a situation that I felt sick after playing over 2 hours straight. It was just a smooth experience. The music does not get old. It doesn't get repetitive. The game is just full of things to do, from the Halloween mode, from the UFO shooting down challenges, from controlling the guns on the aircraft carrier and shooting down missiles, from putting out the fire, from freaking just helping people get rescued from getting attacked by sharks. All these little elements put together made for a good experience. And it didn't feel like it was a mini game compilation where they were just trying to shove in these mini games to make the game feel longer than it actually is. It all added to the big overall freaking simulation. Because yes, if you are at an airport and you're controlling the way freaking planes land, you might just end up like, hey man, maybe I should help repair that plane, get it to the right place, right hangar. Maybe if I got a second, I'll help throw some bags. If I am the god guy here, I could do a little bit of everything. And it's just a really cool experience. But just want to really push the point. If you can, get the pilot edition. This edition with the controller profoundly changed my experience in video game. And I really do mean that. I've just never had a moment in my gaming history in 2016 that I just would I just never felt this before. I've never felt this with a freaking game that I control an aircraft. It felt amazing. And it goes to what the developers have put into this game, to the point that if you go to the credit sequence in this game, the developers have gone out of their way to make different parts of it in 3D, to make it actually feel like this was a game meant for virtual reality. And that is one of my biggest problems with games that are just normal PC games converted over to having virtual reality elements as well. They miss these little tiny touches that these developers will put in that make the games from scratch for virtual reality. The fact that you could pick up a freaking airplane on your desk and throw it and you'll start flying away. The fact that throwing anything in virtual reality in this game just feels fun. It just does. The game is polished, the music is good, the graphics is decent. It could be better when it comes to the water and stuff like that. But overall, for the price of this title, it is worth your time. It is worth your money. This is why the Untitled Game Show is giving Final Approach and Final Approach Pilot Edition a 5 out of 5. It's a must play virtual reality game. Thank you for watching.
Well done!
Oh my god. Don't let anybody in your life tell you that failing can't be fun and you can't succeed. I have to fail a whole lot of times to accomplish that, and I don't even care. I feel accomplished. I'll take what I can get. Peace out, guys.